Well, good evening, everybody. It is, you know what, it's been one of those weeks, but I do believe that it may well be Monday, the 10th of September 2012. As we welcome you all here for webinar number, this is how good my memory is, I've actually got to look at my diary, webinar number six. Six, well, hey, good man, Rob, even though he's in a different town at the moment. But yes, number six of well, as we've said before, of how many we're not quite sure because when we get nearer the end and we get into questions and answers and stuff, which we're going to do a bit of tonight, it will depend on what everyone's projects are and what you're doing and stuff. But before I kind of welcome Rob on to the call, because tonight's going to be very much of a kind of back and forth sparring event. We very nearly, to be honest, we very nearly contacted everyone and said, let's call the whole thing off, so to speak, and we'll just have a webinar next week. Get on with stuff, and any of the stuff we mentioned before that you've not managed to do yet, do. We didn't end up calling off tonight, though, for two reasons. Which are all ironically related to the fact why we considered calling it off until next week. And that's the paradox of our internet service provider not having got our server back online. And probably not going to have for, well, I just checked it before we started this webinar and the whole it'd be up because the server was apparently 75 to 80% repaired, restored this morning, so I was hoping we would be, but apparently we're still not, so it could be any time. And we thought, well, that means people haven't been able to get into the members area because we haven't, which means Rob's not been able to re-upload everything, so people have not been able to get in there to look at stuff, to refresh, to put things into action if they needed that bit of a reminder. So we thought it's kind of pointless doing webinar number 6, which was going to be fitting the last bits of the website together type thing and getting affiliates so that you can start promoting your site and making money, because not everybody, as we know from the private emails speaking to you guys and girls, has quite got to that point because you've not been able to get to the templates, for example. So we can only apologise immensely for the nightmare that is currently our web hosting company, which upon investigation and asking around, unfortunately, it's one of these freak occurrences that it wouldn't matter what web hosting company we were with, if the piece of equipment basically blew up, for want of a better explanation, there's diddly squat any other web hosting company could have done. So that's the potential downside of all this. So we were talking this morning, Rob and me, and last night, let's put it off a bit. And then I said, well, hang on. There's stuff that everyone can actually do without needing to get to the members area to keep them occupied until the members area is back up, to keep them occupied in a positive, profitable manner until all the necessary videos, templates, training videos, and all the resources we've spoke about are there for them to access, use, and put into place to capture. I said, well, there's actually things they can do now that don't cost any money, and as long as they've got a connection to the internet, which one kind of guesses you all have, otherwise you couldn't be listening in right now. And it would be a little bit strange wanting to set up all your own websites if you didn't have internet access. Stuff that's free that you can do now, so that the moment that the members area is back open and active, the moment you can get to those videos, the moment you can catch up, use your templates, get your sales letter installed and made into a website. When
Oh, I think we might have lost Jonathan's audio there. I know I can't hear him, and I've just waited to see if everyone else can, and they've all dropped it. And lots of people have said they've lost him as well. Give me a second, we'll just wait and hopefully he'll pop back on in a second. Guessing he's probably accidentally muted himself or maybe his internet's dropped.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you again.
When did you stop hearing me?
Literally 10 seconds ago, you literally just said there's things that
That
other
is
people
very
could be
bizarre.
doing.
I don't know what happened, but I heard you say I might have muted myself. So I moved my mouse from one screen to the other, and sure enough, I was able to unmute myself, but I hadn't had hold of my mouse, which is very weird, so I don't know how that happened. So,
okay, at least you're back.
Yeah, so yeah, we can only apologise to everyone, and you know, it's none of your faults that as of tonight, the majority of you won't have got to the stage, I'm guessing, that we were hoping you would be. So rather than go through stuff that at the moment is kind of, it will be jumping ahead now, because we need you to have your sales letter finished. We need you to, you know, put into place the stuff Rob spoke about last week. We need you basically to be able to access that members area so that you can look at the videos, so that you can use the template to make your website if you want to, so that you can look at the other training videos so that you can get up to speed. So we thought about it and we thought there is stuff that you can actually be doing for the next 24, 48 hours until you can get in the members area that will be beneficial to have in your website, because once your website's up, you're going to want to drive traffic there. Now, a large amount of that's going to be done, as Rob's already explained in previous webinars, by affiliates who you're going to give commissions to. But I'm a little bit old-fashioned in so much as I always like it when a sale pops in, or multiple sales pop in, and the affiliate tracking software shows me that it's a sale I've made myself. So I'm getting 100% of the money. Now, you know, as Rob said, you know, I would actually I'd sooner have 50% of lots of sales than 100% of nothing. So it's just the icing on the cake when you get sales coming in and you get all the money. But you're more likely to get lots of sales where you get to keep 100% of the money if you're driving traffic to your own website. And there are some simple ways to do that, so that don't have to cost anything as well. But they require you to perhaps register for free accounts with various sites, and that's stuff you could be doing now, so you've got it there ready for when we can all play catch up and get back up to speed. So in that regard, to help me share some of those ideas and approaches with you, please welcome Mr. Robert Temple. You've hopefully heard.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. I just thought for a terrible moment then that
I'm still here. That's cool.
all
yeah.
right,
So
cool.
hi everyone. As Jonathan just explained, I'm just going to turn my microphone up a tad. There we go.
Oh, that's better.
As Jonathan just explained, obviously, yeah. So we're currently in a huge time bubble with our web hosting. We're just waiting for that to burst, and hopefully we can then get back up and running. So as soon as we can, we will get you. Nobody is more irritated or upset or out of pocket by this than we are, and so we are doing everything we can to get everything back up and running. So until then, we wanted to, as Jonathan just said, talk you through the basics of kind of getting an infrastructure in place that will allow you to drive traffic to your own website, or in reasonable quantities, and also to brainstorm exactly what your ideas are right now for where you expect your business to be at, sort of as soon as you as soon as you've played catch up. So now, interestingly, the majority of traffic in my business is driven by affiliates. There are some things I do to generate traffic myself, and they were more in the early days, although I've become lazy with time, as now affiliates do all of the hard work for me. So I know that Jonathan's angle on things, where Jonathan generates a lot of traffic to his and our websites by himself, and he's going to have a lot of things to kind of add to that.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I always like to describe it is that when it comes to driving traffic on the internet, the first thing is traffic is the most important thing when it comes to making money online. Okay. Traffic is the most important thing when it comes to making money online. Without traffic, you're absolutely dead. And it's pretty much like saying if you've got a shop, a physical high street shop, if nobody walks past the shop, or more importantly, nobody walks into the shop, you aren't going to make any sales. And it's the same thing. So when you've got your website, that is your online shop front. If you don't have people visiting that website, you're not going to make any sales. You don't have people coming into your online store. Now, when it comes to driving traffic on the internet, the more traffic you can drive, generate, direct, influence, and persuade and manipulate, the more money you can make. So you can really be sort of the king or queen of your little internet empire when you're good at driving traffic. And if you think about it, it doesn't just come down to your website. When you're good at driving traffic, you can drive traffic anywhere. You can drive traffic to an affiliate offer. You can drive traffic to your offers. You can drive traffic into a live webinar page and do a webinar and then sell something at the end of that. You can do all kinds of things. And with traffic, it really comes down to one of two things. They say that time is money, don't they? There's no other expression that says time is money. And I firmly believe that this is true. And what it means is that when it comes to driving traffic, you can either invest time or you can invest money. If you invest your time, then you can get lots of traffic for free. If you don't have a lot of time, there are financial shortcuts, things you can pay a small amount of money and have stuff done for you, which will save you that time. So pretty much the truth of the matter is, in order to drive traffic yourself, you either have to invest your own time and actually do some physical work. Although, having said that, once you've done it, it's not like you're doing a lot of work to generate one sale. You will do a little bit of work and generate lots of sales. And obviously, the more work you do, the more sales you will generate. Or alternatively, you can pay something and have it done for you, or have that process automated or delegated and taken out of your hands. So that's the first important thing to remember. As I said, time is money, and therefore you should either invest your time or your money into getting traffic online. Now, right now, you're going to be very reluctant, and this is completely understandable, to invest a lot of money into your business. Once you first get your website up and running, you'll want to see some sales coming in first, which is where these strategies will come into play with regards to actually getting your traffic flowing on a regular basis, a daily, weekly, monthly basis, day in, day out, without it costing you the earth and sky. And again, that's really where Jonathan's input is going to come into play. Now, starting it's now going to be the end of September, seeing as the course is now a little bit behind where it should be, you're going to be receiving a weekly video every week for a year, teaching you a new cool traffic methods that you can use. Now, some of them will be free methods, so that's what we call free traffic, where you actually have to do some work. And some of them will be what we call paid traffic methods, where you just have to put a small amount of money in order to get something going. Now, I'm actually genuinely myself really interested to hear Alex's perspective on getting free traffic to websites, because he does it all the time, day in, day out, using free community websites, communities of millions of people worldwide who are interested in a particular thing, that you can tap into a community of people and generate lots of traffic as a result of that. As a result of that small amount of work. Donna says, I was not able to attend last week. I need to access the webinar to catch up. When do you think I might be able to do that? As I mentioned, Donna, we are working on it every second of every day, chasing up our web host and praying, and we will get you access to it as soon as we have access to it. Right now, even we don't have access to our servers.
I've literally just checked again, so you would have heard typing. Sorry, Donna. I've just checked again various different websites. None of them are yet up.
Okay, so we're working on that. We will get it up as quickly as possible. We didn't just want to cancel this webinar, as Jonathan said. We wanted to give you something, help you, motivate you, to keep you inspired and going until we get this going.
So I suppose the starting point for that is, hopefully everyone has, because there's no need to have got in the members area to have brainstormed inside your own mind. Hopefully people have started to come up with ideas in their head of what their product is going to be, at the very least, if they haven't already started putting a product together. So if you have, and I hope you have, because there's no need to, even if it's only in your own head, if you've already kind of decided an idea, the niche, the specialist area that you're going to aim at first, then just type yes into the question box, because it's important that you have actually got an idea in your head what your particular niche or specialist area is actually going to be. It's good, that's a yes, a few more yeses. Okay, cool. In which case this will be useful. Because when you know what your niche is, the specialist area, that is your starting point. You then know what your target market is. So, for example, I am just going to, let's pick a random. I know that we've used an example of a smoking cessation package for the site that we're putting together, and we will, when we've got access to the web servers again, we will actually get up and running. But let's take something random, because it doesn't matter. This applies to anything and everything. So let's take golf. Now, it doesn't matter whether you play golf or not. It's not about golf. It's about the concept behind how to get traffic to your website. And again, with this example, it doesn't matter if the product was made by yourself because you play golf and you come up with perhaps a better approach to learning the perfect swing, or whether it's from the psychological point of view of helping people have in the right state of mind, or whether it was that you've come up with some crazy concept for, I don't know, playing golf differently under different rules for fun only, and you were going to sell this concept of a game to people. Really doesn't actually matter that much what it is you're selling. That's my point. All you've got to identify is who it would appeal to. The more specific you can be about that, the easier it is to reach the people that are more likely to then part with money down the line. But we'll use golf just for this example. It doesn't matter though if it's teaching people hypnosis, helping them stop smoking. What I'm about to say applies when you just apply common sense to it. So, whether it's golf or whatever, there are numerous, and I mean more than you'd ever want to spend your time joining. There are numerous news groups on the internet, discussion forums, message boards, and kind of specialist social networks. Now, my first, it's kind of, once you've got them set up, a lot of these will overlap. So yeah, golf is very specific, and obviously you would only in a golfing forum, for example, plug things that were golf relevant, because it's a clue to the nature of the forum, what those people are likely to be interested in. It becomes a little bit easier with the self-help arena when you really broaden it out, because as well as perhaps if you've got a smoking package, finding smoking cessation support groups, you could also, albeit it'd be a bit more of a shotgun approach, go on generalised forums such as the one connected to selfgrowth.com, which is just about self-help in all areas of your life in general, and find threads where people were already talking about smoking cessation and then accidentally put some input there. Now, here's the thing. Because I don't like that, I'm a great believer in not spending money. It's about making money, not spending it where possible. So, yes, there are forums that will charge you money to join, the kind of private members groups. I don't bother with them. There's more than enough that are free. Yahoo.com has loads of groups of its own. You just literally go to yahoo.com and sign up for a free email account. Once you've got the free email account, you can also sign into Yahoo groups, which is quite simple. Once you've got your Yahoo account for free, you go to yahoo.com and you search in their search box, you put Yahoo groups, and it will bring up the link to log into Yahoo groups. And then you can search to join groups in the subject matter you want. So if it was golf, you put golf in, click search, you join, click join. as many of them as you could before it says you've reached your limit for the day. It lets you. It can vary. It depends how busy your RO is. You know, it can be a dozen, or you might get away with joining 20 or 25 some days before it goes, you've reached your limit. I always find it quite useful to do this kind of at 11:30 at night, maybe a bit late, so you can join a load, then go and check your emails before going to bed, and then just after that, you've just tipped over the midnight mark, so it's classed as being another day kind of thing, and you can get away with doing some more before you go to bed. The idea is to join as many as you can over the period of between now and relevant to your niche, obviously. Okay, I hope people are getting that point. And you know, if it was golf, as example, I searched for golf first, but that will bring up all areas. It brings up golf coaching, golf. You might even want to get more specific. You know, golf players as opposed to golf coaches, or it might be golf coaches if your product was aimed at helping golf coaches. So a bit of common sense relevant to what your product is will help you, which will give you the answer to what keywords to put into search for groups of that nature. Join as many as you can between now and essentially when the members area is back on, which hopefully could be tonight, could be tomorrow, but keep doing it over, say, the next week, so that by the time you've got your website together and up and running, you'll be a member of the most popular groups. Now, that's another thing to look for. Some of these groups may only have 10 or 15 people in. On Yahoo, for example, it does give you, it tells you a number of how many members there are before you even choose to look at it further. I never tend to bother joining any that have got less than at least 100, 150 members. Otherwise, kind of pissing in the wind, excuse the language. What I'm really looking for are the ones with 1,000 or several thousand members, because then you know, with it being a numbers game, there's more chance of a large number of people seeing what you ultimately end up posting there. So there's Yahoo groups. That's a massive arena. There's alt. That's A for Apple, L for Lima, T for Toffee, groups. Which essentially are Google-related groups. To be able to post on them, you need a free Gmail account. So if you haven't already got one, set one up. It's free. Then you'll be able to, once you're logged into that, go on google.com and type in, for example, alt.golf. Now, I'm actually on my computer as we speak, so I've never done this before, so I don't even know if there is an alt.golf. So I'm actually going to type it in, alt.golf in Google, search, and it's not showing me one straight away, so next to it, sometimes I found that if you put next to the alt dot whatever you put, the phrase news group, it can make a difference. There's not an alt.golf come up straight away, but there is an alt.golf.for sale, a Google group selling golf stuff to each other with tons and tons of members. Kind of speaks for itself. That's a group that's actually encouraging you to advertise stuff, which is a joy. Normally what we're going to do is a little bit under the radar, but pretty much you'll be able to find alt groups as well. There's also more conventional Google groups, which again, literally you just search for your niche matter and put next to it Google groups or Google News groups. Click search in the search box and it'll come up with any of them if indeed they exist. The majority of subjects I've ever encountered, they do. Other stuff that's free of charge, I'll tell you how you're going to utilize all these resources very shortly, but I'm just giving you now places where you need to kind of, if you haven't already done, join and get your free accounts. So you need a Gmail account so you can use Google Groups and alt groups. You need a Yahoo free email account so that you can use the Yahoo groups. If you've not already done it, you really want to be having a Facebook profile for yourself. You will at a later stage set up a an official Facebook page for your product kind of thing, but for now you want a Facebook account so that you're then able to join all relevant discussion groups that are part of Facebook, because there's a mass number of communities for every subject you can think of that have got groups on Facebook that you can join, and it's free to get a Facebook account. I would actually do the same if you haven't already, even though it's outdated and a lot of people say it's not worth bothering. I still generate sales by posting adverts for free on myspace.com. You want a free Twitter account, twitter.com. All of these, again, as we say, are costing you nothing to join. And then you want to search Google for your particular niche subject matter. So if it was golf, it would be golf. I've never done this search for golf, so I'm going to do this in Google just to, and you know, I'm sure some people probably do the same, just to see what happens. But I'm going to type in golf because that's the niche, the example niche I'm using. And next to it, I'm going to put news group as one kind of word. And click search, and there's tons of them coming up. Then if rather than news group, the other word to search is your niche word, which in this example is golf, but forum, search. Oh, even more of them, which you can test out for yourself. So there's news group, forum, and then another word you can use, so you've got golf, because that's the example niche here, is message, and then there's a separate word, board, or boards. So it's, now we've got golf message boards there, searching for that. Tons of them. And I guarantee 99.9% of these will be free to join. Pretty much most forums are, because somehow they're, you know, that they're trying to upsell their products or something. But obviously, unless you've got a golf product, you're not going to be searching for the word golf. You're going to be using your niche word, obviously. But it's just to illustrate that this can be found. So you've got news groups, forums, message boards, discussion, the word discussion. So discussion and then boards. So golf discussion boards, if you search for that. Yeah, we're getting a lot of them with the same results, but then there's a lot of different ones. Now, all right, I'm all looking at the first page on Google, but this is one of my own personal rules. Just as, generally speaking, if you've got a website and you don't appear on the first page of Google, or at the very worst, the second, third page, you're highly unlikely to make any reasonable amount of money. In the same manner, generally speaking, the chances are that any news group, discussion group, message board, forum, or similar words meaning the same thing, is going to be found on the first 1, 2, 3 pages maximum of Google. Because people who are new coming to it, joining a forum, are going to restrict how much searching they do. So I tend to only join those that appear on the first 3 pages of Google, but for each phrase of search. So I'd use the first 3 pages of discussion boards golf, of forums golf, of news groups golf. Okay, all the things that I mentioned. And you can join these for free. It's a little bit of a ball ache. It's made a little bit easier if you've got, depending on what browser you're on, if you've got a browser that affords you the opportunity to remember things that you've filled into internet online forms, that will speed things up immensely. If you haven't, then I suggest you get a Microsoft Word document open in another window, and you, as you join a couple of these forms, you'll see the things they're asking you to fill in. When you filled in a couple, make sure you've got that on your Microsoft Word document typed in there, so you can literally just highlight, copy and paste in. What's ideal is a browser that will remember stuff that you fill in on web forms. So if you start typing the same bloody thing again, name, what's your profile name going to be, password and all that. Use the same password for all the forums, discussion groups and all that. It makes life a whole lot easier when it comes to logging in and posting your adverts. So that's how you're going to join these things for free, because they are free. And the same with Facebook, you know, when you're on there, you search in the search box for the kind of phrases I've just said to search for in Google. And you can be a little bit more specific with Facebook, because you can put in, like, if it was to improve your state of mind, you might want to put in win the mental game of golf, search, and if it does come up with literally thousands of results, say, you can click on the left-hand side of the screen to view groups only, to see if there are any. If there are, then you send a request to join them. And you can also click on pages that you can like. But I'd only ever bother clicking on pages to like them on Facebook if it's obvious that other people have already, you can look at the pages generally speaking first. If other people have actually posted who are not the person running the groups, there seems to be a lot of discussion, then it's worth joining, because it means you will be able to post a comment on there. Some of these are set up so that you can do that. So once you've joined tons of these, and I do mean tons of them, which, you know, I'm literally spending just 20 minutes a day for a week. At the end of the week, you'll look back and you'll be a member of literally hundreds of forums and news groups. It's not the monumental task it sounds when you're copying and pasting or using a browser that fills in most of the form for you. You have then got tons of places where people interested in that subject matter will see what you end up posting. Now, I have been blatant, and I'm not going to talk about it long this evening, because you can go, when it comes back up online, to the members area, the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp, and download the 2 audio MP3s, selling hypnosis products for profit. The stuff I talk about on there will apply and works for any kind of product, not just hypnosis products, where I do go into what other people accuse me of as being spamming. Now, the thing is, if you read the CAN Spam Act very, very closely indeed, it is unsolicited email or internet postings which are off topic. That's the key bit here, which are off topic or unasked for. Now, if you're on a specialist news group about golf and you post something that's about golf, it cannot possibly be seen to be off topic. It could be argued that you're posting an ad without permission if it's against the group rules, but with a little bit of nous, you can, if you want to take the time and remain liked in the community. If being liked is something that bothers you as a human being, then you can take the time to structure your posting to sound like asking a question or an opinion about a product you've seen somebody else advertising, whereas in truth you're asking about your own thing. A little bit naughty, but that way it looks less of an advert. Personally, I have over the years not given a fuck. I figure if I can get stuff advertised for free, if it doesn't make me money, it doesn't matter, because once I've wrote the advert once, to sit there and literally leave myself logged in, because you know, a lot of these groups and forums, you can click remember me next time. So you literally, next time you go back to it, all you've got to do is just straight in, copy and paste your ad in post, starting a new thread. It annoys people, it's made me shitloads of money. I'm not advising you to do it, it is so borderline on the edge of being against the CAN Spam Act, it's unreal, but done right, as I explained on those audios, it is within, just within being legal. And I do mean just within. It's so dangerously close that you are perhaps better using the safer approach, which is that all these forums, as a rule, will allow you to have a signature to your postings, a bit at the bottom where it says a little bit about you. And you can either straight away, or sometimes you've got to post like at least 10 informative postings before they activate the signature straight. You can put in your website link. So it could say, you know, if it was Hypnosis Forum, I was giving away free advice at the bottom, it could say, you know, Jonathan Royle is considered a leading expert in hypnosis, and runs various courses throughout the years, and then the website address. it's shown that the chances are, if you're giving content of quality, that people will become curious enough to look at your signature. I prefer the gold in your face approach. Fucking, you can't miss it if you actually look at this. But you're seeing the ad, you're either going to buy it or you're not. But if you're giving good quality info away for free and contributing to the forums that people like you, they will get curious and look at the signature, and then more, a large majority will click on the link, and it's down to your sales page doing its job that we spoke about before. It will drive traffic there. And the thing is, they will remain on that group for years, so that people who join the group a month, 2 months from now, who come across that posting, may end up clicking on the link. So these, could make you some money immediately, these forums postings, but years down the line they will. And I really do know that to be true, because in the mid-90s I posted a heck of a lot on alt.dot groups before I really got into the internet and realised there was forums galore and stuff. And I still occasionally, it's not every day, it's not even every week, but I will a few times a month find that in my PayPal money has arrived for an odd figure, and I used to, I've worked it out now, but I used to think, why this random amount of money for a product I've now put up in price considerably? Because they do name the product. And then I've gone Google searching to try and remind myself, and I've come across my ads from back in like 1996 on alt.hypnosis, and someone's just come across it and sent that actual figure that's mentioned in there to the PayPal account. And fair enough, given the fact that it only meant, sending them an ebook, I fulfilled the order. It'd be unfriendly not to take the money off them, wouldn't it? So, if you apply a tiny bit of common sense to even what I've just said already, hopefully you're already starting to see that you can reach literally thousands of people who have got a big enough interest in your niche. Even if that's just giving up smoking, there are support groups out there for people who try to give up smoking before and fail. There's loads of them on Facebook, so there's bound to be forums as well. Literally, it's like, help me quit for real this time. And they're asking each other what worked for them, what didn't. Somebody going on there saying that they've tried out this wonderful system. I'm not telling you to pretend to be somebody that you're not. I'm just saying that if somebody did go on there saying they tried out this wonderful system, and hey, what have you got to lose trying it, because it comes with this full money back guarantee, would generate sales. Some people may find something slightly immoral, unethical about that kind of approach I've just explained. If you think that, fine. Just be aware the chances are there will be people who sign up as affiliates for you who will use these kinds of techniques, and then relieve you of the 50% commission. I like to hit the major news groups with my website for a new launch on something before any affiliates get a chance to do it, and then get the affiliate signed up. Just because I'm a greedy bastard, basically. In truth, that is it. And if I make another bit of a confession to you, and that is that I don't these days that often actually spend all my time doing the copying and pasting, even though it only takes, say, 20 minutes a day to go on different news groups with a different angle, albeit you just write out like that posting once and then you copy and paste it into all the news groups and forums, the same thing. I don't even do that most of the time now, because there's very nice Filipino ladies who for literally $3, $4 an hour, that's about it's about £2.50 an hour, it's less than half the national minimum wage in England, will happily do this work for you if you just email them the outline of the posting that you wanted, you use a name and password and a list of web links for the forums. Which obviously is you're not going to use the password you use for anything private or confidential in your own life, means nothing can ever get stolen off you. And these people will do what, sounds like, bloody hell, that's cheap. And it is cheap, but remember that £2.50 equivalent for the hour to them is more than some people in their country get paid in a couple of hours. So they will want to keep you happy, especially if you get someone who's got good feedback on elance.com. That's elance, Lance.com. Someone who's got good feedback for doing social media postings on behalf of people. They will do the job for you because they want you to keep using them every day and every week. And all right, you may only need their time for half an hour or an hour maximum a day, but you're going to want it happening at least every other day, if not every day, because these people will actually research your niche topic area for you. Get this? And they will write reports and articles for you, okay, and post them to the news groups for you like you're a contributing member who's not trying to advertise anything, so that you can keep posting stuff that people are going to be interested in reading on that niche subject matter, so that then they're more likely to see your signature at the bottom with your web link in that will do the selling for you. And you don't have to really do any work except, yeah, all right, that kind of approach will cost you £2.50, perhaps even as much as £5 per day, 20, 30 quid a week. But remember, obviously, if it wasn't showing you a return on investment that was several times that, you'd soon stop doing it, wouldn't you? I can assure you, if you do it right, the return on investment will speak for itself, and you'll be so glad that there are nice ladies and gentlemen, I shouldn't be sexist, ladies and gentlemen in the Philippines and other kind of more third worldy countries who will work for what we'd consider to be a handful of rice, slave labour rates of money, but to them is a life-changing difference amount of money. Some will call that exploitation. I call it good business. They're happy with it. I'm happy with it. It's a win-win. Both parties are happy. What's immoral, unethical, or exploitive about that? Personally, I think nothing. So yeah. Oh yeah, the other thing you want to be joining up for free if you haven't already, because is YouTube. Because down the line, once your website's up and running, this one more, you want to join it now, so you're on there, but you're not necessarily going to use it until your site's up and running. If you put together a kind of a newsy type video blog type thing, or vlog as they like to call them, talking about the benefits of your product or giving a little bit of free advice based on your product away, and you put that, upload it to YouTube with various keywords relevant to your product and in the description details of your site, so that people who find the video can click on the link and find your site. The thing is, the moment you upload a YouTube video, because they've got kind of something going on with Google, whatever keywords you put in to the video description and the keyword section on YouTube, you literally end up ranked on Google in like about an hour. It's crazy how quick video marketing like that to get traffic to your website is becoming more and more prevalent. So I suppose the message I'm saying, I think I kind of, if you use the key phrases that I've said and search them in Google, you'll find all the forums, message boards, news groups, social networking sites relevant to that niche to join, as you will also on MySpace, on Facebook, and even on things such as LinkedIn. There are often forums and groups on things such as LinkedIn, which is linkedin.com. They try to sell you a pay-for account, but I've only ever had one that's free of charge. I don't like spending money. Who needs to? The beautiful thing is a free of charge account means you can still join all the groups and post your adverts. Well, hey, result. I cover this, if you want the reminders, in the audios that you'll be able to get when the members area is back up. But to be honest, if you just take the point of your niche that you've decided on, gives you the clue as to your keyword to search in Google, and then after that add message boards, discussion groups, discussion boards, news groups, forums, phrases like that, and you will find the places to join for free that are relevant, where people are interested in that subject matter, that are people that are kind of red hot for selling your product to. And in a nutshell, until I kind of started working with Rob, I can honestly say that up until a couple of years ago when I started working with Rob, that's how I generated pretty much 99.9%. No, actually, that's a bit of a lie. I'd say it's how I've generated 90%. I'll tell you a little bit later on about how I generated the other 10%. How I generated 90% of my traffic and internet sales and did very well, thank you very much indeed. So I can assure you it does work. And on that note, as much as you won't want to hear this, I need a wee. So I'm going to hand you over to Rob briefly. If
Fantastic.
indeed he's still there. Oh, yeah, cool. I'll be back in a minute.
I just muted my microphone whilst.
Well, I'm just going to mute myself because you don't want to hear the toilet flush.
No problem. So then, folks, cool. What I'm going to do then, because pretty much Jonathan's on a really cool flow here, and this is stuff that this isn't really my area of expertise. My area of expertise is the free traffic methods you're going to be learning in those 50 weeks of training videos that will be starting at the end of this course. So I kind of don't want to interrupt that, so to speak. I kind of just does anyone have any questions? Hopefully, you can kind of see where we're coming from with this training session and the fact that it's all very up in the air at the moment, but obviously we're trying to make this as usable as possible for you. So if you do have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, do go ahead and type it into the questions box. I'm just waiting for Jonathan to get back from the loo. It'd be also interesting to know where you're all at so far. Jared says some great ideas, well worth implementing. Keith says, does all of this posting help you with your Google rankings? Not massive, no, not really. The truth of the matter is, getting to the top of Google is very, very difficult, depending on what it is that you are actually, what niche you're in and what your kind of main keywords are. The truth of the matter is that everybody, particularly when people first get started in the world of internet marketing or information publishing, everybody's hung up on doing search engine optimization and trying to get to the top of Google. And the truth is, if you do a search, particularly in the UK, I don't know about if you're abroad, but if you do a search for comedy hypnotist or comedy hypnosis, I am in the top few results on Google, but I'm more or less there by accident. I'm not entirely sure how I got there. I didn't do any massive SEO campaign, but the truth is that's the most search engine success I've had. I've got to the top of Google purely by accident. I've genuinely done absolutely nothing at all to get there. It's just happened. So my site is accidentally well optimized, although the web designers claim they did do a certain amount with it. So with that said, no, it won't make a massive amount of difference. The major reason for that is that Google are constantly changing their algorithms and the way it works and what they look for to put a site at the top of Google. And therefore it's difficult to stay there because nobody really knows what Google wants except Google. So the truth is, the only difference to that is what Jonathan said about YouTube videos. If you're putting videos on YouTube, Dailymotion, Vimeo, Vidler, Blip.tv, if you put videos onto all of the major video hosting networks like YouTube, and for the others, if you just type YouTube alternative into Google, and you'll find links to all of the others, basically they will, those videos will, provided they are optimized right, and you can find out more about that by Googling it, you can get those onto the front page of Google very quickly. So for example, I have just to check, I went to google.com and searched for the word comedy hypnosis. Now I am currently on the final result on that page, according to my computer, and it may be different if you do it. But right now I'm the last result on page 1 on a worldwide search of comedy hypnosis. Now the first sort of proper result is Mark Savard, a good friend of mine and hypnotist in Vegas. Just above that are 3 videos, which are 2 of them on YouTube, one of them is on Dailymotion, and those videos have got there because they are videos. So there is less competition for optimizing videos than there is for optimizing websites, and Google likes to put videos on the top of its search engine results. Now, they're not always at the top, admittedly. Sometimes they can be halfway down the page or whatever, but it likes to put videos on the first couple of pages of Google. And it has done it here. It's put 3 videos on the top of Google. Now, these won't always be the same videos, admittedly, but they will be the majority of the time. So these hypnotists are using video very well. One of them is, well, 2 of them are Don Barnhart, and the other one, I can't see who it is without clicking the video, but if I click the video, it's going to start playing. I'll quickly do it. Robert Maxwell is the 3rd one. So those 2 hypnotists, Don Barnhart and Robert Maxwell, are using video very effectively to get to the top of Google, because people would search comedy hypnosis. Those are the first results they see. They would then click on that link, then watch the video, which would sell it to them far more than the website would, and then they could click through or either Google that person's name specifically or click through to their website. So despite the fact that Don Barnhart's website itself isn't on page 1 for a Google search of comedy hypnosis, that video is on page 1, and therefore people will find him through the video by watching it and finding that link. So again, just to recap on what I did, I searched comedy hypnosis. My website, currently on my computer at least, is the 10th result on the first page, which is all well and good, and that will get me a certain amount of traffic and will get me a certain amount of work. But also there are 3 videos at the top. 2 of them are Don Barnhart, one of them is a guy called Robert Maxwell, all in the US. And because they've got their videos there, their websites don't have to be hugely well optimized, because those videos are dragging that work in. So although the majority of posting you do around the different parts of the website won't have a huge impact on your, well, it won't have a huge impact on your website search engine rankings, but it will actually have a good, your postings and your adverts can appear in Google. So for example, if you were to go ahead and search for, just let me work something out, I'm just looking on Google now, if you were to go ahead and search for, this is an example I can think of because of the fact that we did it. If you go ahead and search for Robert Temple Hypnotist on Google, it comes up, I've come up, and it will be slightly different depending on where in the world you are and when you search for it. But when I've just done it, it's come up with roughly 174,000 results on Google. And if you look through them, the majority of them are not my website. My website doesn't appear until page 3, I think. There might be a reference to it on page 1, but the main, oh, there is a reference to it on page 1, but my main website doesn't appear until page 3. The rest of them are postings that Jonathan, I, or our team of professional website posters have put around the internet in order to primarily sell, and this is particularly true if you type Robert Temple Hypnotica, HYPNOTICA, on different websites advertising my show that I did in Manchester and now what is now my DVD. So again, although it's not necessarily true that by doing all these postings your website won't get to the top of Google, but by doing all of these postings, if people search the right keywords, your advert may well appear, and when your advert appears, people can then read that and then click through to your website. So hopefully that answers your question, Keith. Alex, it is back, I think.
I am, yes, I've now unmuted myself.
Good stuff. Welcome.
Am I here? Can you hear me now? Yeah, all right. I've been listening for the past few minutes while you were talking. I just didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries. So hopefully that has answered your question. Actually, there's probably too many things up here when people search for Robert Temple Hypnotica. Some of them have my old, I don't know why, but my old postal address on and my old office telephone number, which is totally out of date. But I can't get rid of it because it's on Google now, so it's going to be there until Google decide to de-index it.
But so, even then, so for example, findable on the internet.
For example, I have searched Robert Temple Hypnotica. It's come up with 48 million results on my computer. 48,600,000 results. If I scroll down to result number 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all about my show that I did in Manchester for my DVD filming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 messages down. The link takes me to a Yahoo group called Stage Hypnosis, which is in the health groups on Yahoo, and this is a post made by Royal Hypnotist. I wonder who that could be.
I can't imagine.
which is all about my show. So literally, if you just go to, and again, it may be different for you, depending on whereabouts in the world you are and what Google you're on, but if you go to google.com and search Robert Temple Hypnotica, right now on my computer, the 6th result on page 1 is a post made in a Yahoo group by, well, it won't have been by Jonathan, but by one of our team, or one of his team at the time, about my show. And selling. Now this is probably now being updated to, yeah, this is about the DVD rather than about the live show. So this was actually posted after. So this is exactly what we're talking about. This is selling a product rather than the live show. So you will actually see, if you search Robert Temple Hypnotica and just look around a bit, you will see dozens and dozens and dozens of websites, if you look through all of the results, where either myself or Jonathan, under one of our names, has posted a random advert on a random website about my show, or rather about my DVD. There's another one on page 4, the top result has come up as The Art of Hypnosis, another Yahoo group. And again, it's a message from good old Jonathan Royle himself, supposedly, advertising my show. So again, this does work, and if people are searching for things specifically, then you will they will find you through the search engines, read your advert, whether they're a member of the group or not, and then be able to click through and find out more.
Which just proves that, this is not something I'm saying is a great idea, try it. It's something that I've been doing for, over, what we're in 2012, so, yeah, well over a decade. And it works, that's why I keep doing it, otherwise I wouldn't bother doing it. But it isn't good enough to just join 2 or 3 news groups and expect that to bring you in enough traffic to earn a living off. The chances are it won't. But if you're a member of literally hundreds of them, which isn't that difficult to do, and once you are, you can literally, whether you do it yourself or outsource it, you can, in the space of like less than half an hour, copy and paste the same thing in. Copy, paste, click, send, copy, paste, click, send, and you can literally, these groups have got hundreds, if not thousands of members, because they're the only ones above the joining. And it's a numbers game. You might only get 1 sale per group, but that could generate you 200 extra sales in the space of a few days. Depends how lazy you are. I mean, if you're totally lazy, then yeah, just stick to the affiliate thing that we'll be talking about kind of next week, once you've had a chance to get in the members area and get up to speed and up to date, so then we can do what we would have been doing tonight. But in the meantime, this is stuff you can implement by joining these groups, forums, message boards, discussion sites and stuff that are free to join. Right now, you can join them free, so you're there ready. And if you want to go down the signature route, the slightly more, shall we say, some would consider ethical approach, you can actually right now go and search maybe for reports, if we use the golf example again, free reports on how to improve your golf that will allow you to put your own name on them, but then you can buy resale rights on them for a minimal cost from somewhere such as Fiverr that we spoke about before, .com, or from eBay, there's people that sell such, or if you go on elance.com, there's people who will, for a minimal cost, write you a number of articles, short articles, reports for a minimum cost that are kind of new and unique to you, that you can then copy and paste in these groups to then activate, because for some of them, like I said, you need 10 postings before you can have a signature, say, at the bottom. So that by the time your site is up and running, you will then have the signature activated, so that then your website link can go on there. And let me tell you, when that does, once you get to the activation point, and you can, in your account settings, put a website link in your signature, it automatically appears at the bottom of any postings you previously made. So none of the postings are wasted. And then they stay there for ever and a day. And even years down the line, as we said, be generating new traffic. I said that's 90% of the way I generated traffic over the years. In the past couple of years, being totally honest, the majority has been via affiliates now, thanks to me seeing the light and learning. Say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Let me tell you, you most certainly can. especially if that old dog's me and the person teaching him was Rob Temple. Affiliates is definitely the way to go. I wouldn't say instead of, Lord, I'd say as well as. You will make more money from the affiliates, given it the way Rob will be teaching you next week, and as touched on previously. But for the minimal amount of effort involved, doing this blanketing forums, discussion groups, etc., will bring you in nowhere near the same level of sales, number of, but when they do come in, you're keeping 100% of the profits. So as an additional, not instead of, as an additional running alongside, although for me, for over a decade, I can honestly say it was the 90% of the way I got traffic to my site was doing what I've been speaking about. The other 10% was going off at a total tangent, although it's essentially the same thing, and that was to find niche publications, i.e. hobby or specialist magazines that are in print that people can buy from newsagents or subscribe to online and have sent to them through the post. Excuse me, and I would pay for a classified ad. Not a display ad that cost a fortune, just a classified ad. Excuse me, I'm just choking slightly. Just let me get a little bit of water. Sorry about that, that's better. Tickly throat. I have chili meatballs for tea, and I like my food hot and spicy. And it surprisingly was a little bit hotter and spicier than I expected, so apologise for that. Yeah, I found printed publications relevant to that niche, but in classified ads, because they were a lot cheaper than display ads. And I found that if it was a niche magazine, specifically, for example, on golf, that people do take the time to look at the classified ads as well as the display ads. Whereas they may not do if it was, you know, a magazine with ads for every manner of stuff in it. They'd be more likely to see a display ad that stood out. But when they're really interested about a subject matter and it's their hobby or their passion or something they're emotionally connected or involved with, people will pay more attention and look at stuff. So for a low-cost classified ad, and my best example of this off the top of my head is I bought a lot of books on self-defense with legal resale rights, which allowed me to put my own name on if I wanted. Although I think I put a pseudonym on them of Master, what was it? It was something really ridiculous. I can't even remember it that long ago. It was something like Master One Kenobi. If you said it fast enough, it sounded like Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars. It was a bit of a piss take, really, but it looked like some weird Chinese name. And I put a sales page together that said, you know, well, the domain name that was getting used for it at the time, or somebody else I licensed this to, was ninjadeathsecrets.com. And as we're online, I haven't checked this in literally a few years because ninjadeathsecrets.com. Let me look. There is no site up on ninjadeathsecrets.com at the minute. Now, this is cool because somebody who acts quick, let me just check the place where you buy domain names from. ninjadeathsecrets.com. Search for this domain. I don't believe it. Everything except ninjadeathsecrets.eu is available to buy. I have a funny feeling that they won't be when people months down the line are listening to this as an online training course, because somebody who's not lazy will go out there and probably buy ninjadeathsecrets.com, which means that you'll probably go on eBay and search like I did for books with resale rights. And I bought basically a dozen different books on how to self-defense, techniques of the ninja, how to kill people with your bare hands, that kind of stuff, and put them all on a CD-ROM that would be sent to them through the post, although these days now I would offer a download option. At the time I didn't have the knowledge, ability, or insight to do that, remember. But now it's a lot easier thanks to Rob. You guys are starting this way ahead of the game from where I was. So the idea was to pay the money in the same way as Rob spoke about in previous events, and then they'd get sent a CD-ROM through the post with the perceived value of $97, which would teach them all this stuff mentioned on this wonderful website about ninjadeathsecrets.com. Learn the secretive techniques of the ninjas, and it sounds cool. I can't believe that website's actually currently available. But anyway, my point of all that was that I booked the little classified adverts in England. We have publications, martial arts magazines, boxing magazines, self-defense magazines, and there's even kind of ninja interest type magazines. I'm sure they're similar worldwide. Sometimes they're available on the high street on the shelf. Sometimes you have to search these days on the internet to find out who sells them and subscribe. You don't necessarily have to subscribe to advertise. You can contact their media department, ask for a media pack to be sent through with an example magazine and how much the ads are. I basically bought a classified advert in there that the headline in bold was Ninja Death Secrets. And then it followed up literally with just the short to the point, learn the secrets that have remained hidden for years. And then the website address. That was it. I knew it was in a niche publication, that people would eventually see it. Death Secrets is a bit kind of shocking, because this is supposed to be about self-defense. Death Secrets, this is like, oh, well, that gets their attention. And then it's like something's hidden and secret, curiosity, people wanting to know more. But they can find out for free by going to the website. And at the website, you know, everything Rob's talked about. There'll be a sign-up box where, you know, get your free 20-page report on how to defend yourself in the ninja manner, which would be just stuff you've got the resale rights on anyway, and that means you're adding them to the mailing list. And would then be a sales letter that would sell them the product, everything we spoke about. So, you know, I'm telling you that for two reasons. A, it might be something you choose to look at in the future, but in a classified ad in a niche publication does generate traffic, and when you do get that traffic, remember, obviously, that means you'll make 100% of the profits from those sales. And also to illustrate the fact that this is exactly how I've made my online money for years. I still use these techniques, but now I also use the techniques that Rob's taught me. And I do have to honestly say that the affiliate approach and stuff that Rob will teach on the next webinar, when you've got access to the members area, will generate you more money. Ultimately, it will generate you more money ultimately, but for the minimal amount of effort involved to do what I spoke about, or to farm it out to somebody else to do, why wouldn't you want to generate even more money? Okay. Jared's bought, to get resale publications, is it eBay, and to create reports, is it Fiverr.com and Elance? For getting reports created, yeah, Fiverr.com and Elance. For getting resale rights, sometimes, you know, you can buy them with resale rights on Fiverr.com. Have a look on there. Sometimes people are selling stuff with resale rights. Certainly you'll find stuff on eBay. So yeah, between those two resources. And I think really, to be honest, there's not a huge amount of additional tips, insights, or information I need to give you. Because when you do the article posting on brilliant, Keith Taylor's book, there was 27,100 global monthly searches for Ninja Death. Exactly. I can't believe no one's got ninjadeathsecrets.com. Somebody buy it. Somebody, seriously, do it. I can't. I have now. Keith Taylor's bought it. Good man. That's taking action. As I say, I got the stuff with resale rights. It was on eBay. If you search for ebooks with resale rights, you'll find that there's quite a lot of people saying they'll, you know, sell you a disc with 8,000 different books on. And they will. Some of them actually are just links on the disc, and then they take you to a website where you've got to download them all. But it will take you a couple of hours to go through because some folders have some of the self-defense in and then some are bundled in other folders. It took me a couple of days actually to go through one of these discs that I bought for less than a tenner I may have, that had like about 8,000 ebooks on. Some were absolute shite, only like 2 pages of PDF, but a lot of them were substantial, like 60, 70, 80 pages ebooks. And I just went through and I created folders that actually, you know what? I'm going to give you access, and this is stuff that you can get access to within 12 hours. I say within 12 hours for one reason only, rather than saying immediate, because I'm going to give you information of a couple of domain names to go to, but you're going to have to request, or you're going to join them, as it were, because the discussion groups that I set up, you're going to join them, but I will have to approve you before you gain access, which means you won't be able to get to the files section of these groups until I've approved you, which after this webinar may not be until tomorrow morning, although I'll endeavour to leave it an hour after the webinar and then go online once just to check and approve some people. So they are called, what you need to do is you need your free Yahoo account we spoke about. So you'd go to yahoo.com, sign up for a free email account. Then when you've got that, you would literally go to Yahoo Groups. Once you're in Yahoo Groups, you want to request membership to the following groups. I will tell you them now. A group called eBook Heaven. That's E for elephant, B-O-O-K, H-E-A-V-E-N, eBook Heaven. When I've approved you as a member of that group, you will find in the files section literally hundreds of ebooks, because I discovered that Yahoo Groups was a good way of file sharing with colleagues of mine, so without it costing any money. So I just set up these particular private news groups so that I could upload loads of the ebooks. Oh, there's Bruce Lee Speed Training Secrets. That's about an 80-page PDF that was part of the martial arts thing in the past. We've got stuff there on credit repair, doing better wedding videos, training your dog. There's hundreds of ebooks in there, all of which you're free to, they've got resale rights with. Now, normally I charge people for access to this file section to approve their membership to the group, but I'm giving it you free. So eBook Heaven, that's one of the groups. You also want to request membership to the Yahoo group called eBooks Central. That's E-B-O-O-K-S C-E-N-T-R-A-L. I've forgotten what's in there, but in the file section in there, blimey, there's DIY building plans for building your own garden sheds, wooden toys, there's how to do DIY, there's all manner of specialist ebooks in there, again with resale rights. You also want to join the group Special Interest eBooks, and it literally is spelled that way, Special, S-P-E-C-I-A-L, Interest, I-N-T-E-R-E-S-T, ebooks, as it sounds. And when I approve you to membership to that group, you will find, what have we got here? Bodybuilding, how to play your electric guitar, numerous different recipe books, how to breed pit bull dogs, recipes, martial arts, more martial arts stuff. Between those three groups, there's a few hundred ebooks anyway that you'll get resale rights on at no charge, because I'm giving you that free. And that will still apply even if you're listening to this months down the line on the online study course version of this. Oh, and one more group, I've forgotten about this one, called Millionaire Secrets. This is a great one actually, because not only do the ebooks come with resale rights, But they're all ebooks such as how to effectively sell your products on eBay, or how to use online auctions, or stuff like that. There's a lot of them in there. Also, where to source products from incredibly cheaply. How to get product fulfillment, drop shipment done. So you can have like an eBay store selling, if you wanted to, I'm not saying do, but like selling washing machines, and when people buy them, you actually just take the money, send part of that money to this warehouse who deliver the product to the customer, and you made a very nice big profit for basically doing next to nothing. There's a lot more ebooks in there. Oh, gambling systems for winning at gambling, poker, dogs, racing, horse racing. You know, bundle half a dozen of them together on a disc, and you've got a niche gambling win at gambling site. So these are just bonus things I'd like to give you all. But you'll need to go on Yahoo, get your free account, and then find those groups that I've mentioned. When the members area is back up, we'll post the links, the direct links to click on to request membership. But until then, you can literally just search Yahoo groups for the names of the groups. Are these groups or .com sites? They are Yahoo groups. So you go to yahoo.com, sign up for your free email account, and then you search in the Yahoo toolbar for Yahoo groups. Go on their Yahoo groups page, and they've got a search box for joining groups. Put in the names of the groups that I've mentioned, and it will bring them up, and you can click on and then click request join group. And then when I go on, either an hour after we finish the webinar, when I've gone for a bit of a drink and a toilet trip and whatnot, and I check just before going to bed, I'll approve whoever I can then. Otherwise, it'll be in the morning, so about an 8-9 hour time delay. But I will approve you, and then you'll be able to get them because they're not affected by our server. So that's ebooks for you to look at, some offline marketing tactics, some online marketing tactics for driving traffic, and without kind of going into stuff that I know Rob's going to cover on future webinars, that is more useful for you to know once you've been able to get in the members area and actually get up to speed and watch the videos and use the templates and stuff, which I apologise again, until you've been able to do that and get up to speed, which hopefully everyone will be able to do by next Tuesday's webinar. I've got it down that it's next Tuesday, the 18th of September. I don't think there's much I can add on this particular subject matter without going into stuff that I know is going to be covered by Rob. So unless Rob can think of anything, I think that kind of actually does give you something meaty to get going on. To keep you occupied.
Absolutely. I would pretty much say that that's giving you lots of food for thought, lots of actual actionable content that you can now go away, implement into your business. And also, of course, it's bought you an extra sort of week in time for us to have our web hosting restored, and also for you guys to go ahead and
giving you quite a good few dozen different random ebook products with resale rights that you may or may not choose to now or at some point in the future combine into other packages, or lump like half a dozen. For example, like there's a good half a dozen gambling systems on one of those groups. A poker one, a roulette, a winning at dogs, you know, and various others. You cannot put all together as one, you know, become a professional gambler and potentially earn lots of money type package. Products are there for you. So, you know, there's lots to be going on with, guys and girls. I really don't think that infringing onto, as I say, infringing into stuff that's going to be far better for you next Tuesday on the next webinar when you've had a chance to look into the members area and catch up. I don't think there's much else for me to say other than if you've not already done it, you should be playing around, definitely playing around with your sales letter, putting the sales letter together and tweaking it, because you definitely need that ready for when we're getting into like next week, don't you?
Definitely. Good stuff.
So yeah, I think that kind of a bit shorter than normal, but hang on, to Millionaire Secrets and it shows Hypnotorious. Does it? No idea. Hypnotorious is another news group. Millionaire Secrets Yahoo group. I'm just searching that in the Google toolbox. When I do that, I'm not quite sure what you search for, to be honest. There, Keith, all I know is that if you go on yahoo.com, go into groups, it might bring up Hypnotorious as well, but if you search in the search for groups, I've just thought of something. Let me have just a quick look at this for you. Okay. I'll just slightly scroll down. I've got to try and remember. You know, it's great when you have so many websites and they're automated and you just kind of don't even properly yourself half the time. Okay, here's probably, I think, a quick way. I don't know if I've put them all in health, that's the problem. My Hypnotorious news group, the quick way to find it will be to put in to the search bar of Google health.groups.yahoo.com/group/Hypnotorious. And that will take you to the join this group page. I'm going to have to, slower online, I'm going to have to log back in. So using that premise of that's how you construct the search criteria to get direct access to the join pages of these groups, if I tell you which kind of niche area of Yahoo groups each of the ones I mentioned is in, you will be able to go directly to it. So ebook heaven, to get to the direct page, it would be finance, finance.groups.yahoo.com/group/ebook heaven. That will take you to the join page. eBooks Central, that one can be found by putting in groups.yahoo.com/group/ebooks central. That one's, as it were, slightly less in length than the other one was. Then we have Hypnotorious, I've already explained. Millionaire Secrets is to be found at finance.groups.yahoo.com/group/millionaire secrets. Special interest ebooks can be found at finance.groups.yahoo.com/group/special interest ebooks. That should, if you type that in your toolbar, should be the way to get, the quick way of getting to the join page, albeit you can do it in the manner I mentioned earlier. So hopefully that will help you guys find that. So yeah, if anyone's got any particular questions relevant on what's been spoke about tonight, by all means, now's a good time to ask away.
Indeed.
Well, I think we've probably answered them as we've gone along, I think.
I would say, yeah. We'll give people a couple of minutes just to ask any questions they have. And if not, we'll wrap up this call.
And then we can be back on track next Tuesday, the 18th of September.
Next week we'll be talking about getting everything back up and running, getting your businesses online so that all of your websites are up and running, and then we can talk about getting affiliates to actually promote your websites and start making actual sales and money on the internet.
If yeah, if Teacher, can I put them in an email? You'll have to send me an email to remind me, and then I can do. Is the honest answer. Send it to the support@hypnosisbootcamp.com email address. That applies to everyone. If you, the fact is, if you're listening to this down the line, obviously you'll be able to listen to the recording and write down the domain names. But for now, obviously you can't do that, so we're in the members area. So for now, if you want to send an email to support@elitehypnosisbootcamp.com, then I might not do it till the morning, in honesty, but in the morning I will reply to everyone who's emailed with basically just the direct links to the page where you'll have to click to join if you want to get access to those free ebooks and stuff. So that's there's really nothing else for us to add today. So, as we normally do, although I'm kind of the one who's hopefully, I was going to say waffled on and bored you to death, but hopefully you find this stuff kind of, can't find group called special ebooks. No, it's special interest ebooks, I do believe. Did I say? I'm confusing myself now. I'm pretty certain it was special interest ebook. If I don't, yeah. It's whatever I said before. If in doubt, send an email to support@elitehypnosisbootcamp.com, and in the morning I'll send out an email that's got the direct links. Because unfortunately you can't just rewind at the minute, and I've now signed out. Yeah, I'll send you the links through, and then you can just click, and it will take you directly there to choose to join. But you'll only be able to join, and you may only be able to find it if you're definitely signed into Yahoo when you're doing the searching for it, because I'm pretty certain I marked some of the groups as private, so they wouldn't be found that easily. Cool. So as we normally ask, I'll do it. Normally Rob does, but as I've done quite a bit of the talking, if you feel that you can see the possibilities in what we spoke about tonight, and you think you found it useful, just like, because we like to gauge things as we go along, the usual 5-star rating as it was, or obviously 0 stars if you've not found it at all useful. If you could just put, you mark out stars that you think. Oh, thank you very much, Jared Keith. Bloody hell, jumping up very fast here. Cool, that's cool. Fantastic. Well, let me tell you, if you found that useful tonight, and I'm so glad you have, you are going to find what Rob's going to be sharing with you about how to get affiliates to do your marketing for you. Like, truly awesome, off the Rector scale. As I did when he initiated me into that world and opened my eyes to it all. But as I've said numerous times tonight, that's better for next week, because that way then everyone can be back up to speed. So on that note, I'm going to hand you over to Rob to sort of wrap things up. And as I say, I will reply to anyone's emails at the latest first thing in the morning. Anyone who wants to have the link sent to them. So for now, thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to replying to your emails, and also obviously joining you all online next Tuesday, the 18th of September, at the same time, by which hopefully we'll all be back on track, rocking and rolling, ready to get things to the next stage where we can all start making some money. So for me, good night. I'll hand you over to Rob.
Absolutely. Thank you for your input there, Jonathan. Genuinely taught me some things, so that's cool. And also loads of valuable free stuff for everybody on the training as well. So so the next call, as we mentioned, is on Tuesday the 18th of September 2012, 5 p.m. in New York and 10 p.m. in the UK. So with all of that said, we will keep you in the loop with regards to our web hosting, and we'll be aiming to get that up as quickly as our web host will allow it. And
believe me, we will, because we're losing money.
Lots of money very quickly. So folks, we look forward to speaking with you very soon, but from us here at Passive Hypnosis Profits HQ, we'll talk to you very soon. Good night, everyone.
Good night.